Doing the old school 80s fist bump.
Yes.
And we're live. Okay. Hello and welcome to the Social Recruiting Show. I'm Katrina Collier. I'm a social recruiting trainer and speaker. I'm, of course, joined by my gorgeous co-host, Audra Knight, who is an employer branding genius, has children screaming in the background, or Erin does, anyway. She's a bass player. She's a guru. She loves a blab cat. Oh, the cat. Awesome. Anyway, we are super excited because, one, we have got Aaron Daniels, sourcing God, on the show today.
Oh, Lord.
Very, very special. No pressure to what he has to live up to. And, of course, we have hijacked Air Source for an hour, which is super exciting as well. So welcome, Aaron.
Thanks for having me, Air Source. Thank you.
Nice.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
So, Aaron, we both know you and follow you on Snap, obviously, because you have some good stuff on there. But for anyone that doesn't, can you kind of walk them through your career and what you're doing now at your company?
Yeah, sure. So everything good in my life happened by accident. I love to tell people that. So I used to be in the military for the Army, and when I had come back from a deployment, they were like, "Hey, you know what? You should be a recruiter." I said, "No way, I'm never going to do that." Fast forward, so I ended up doing it, and then I got out from active duty, went to the reserves, and then I had to find what I love to call the real job in the civilian world. And so I applied to this thing called a government/military sourcer. And I thought sourcing, supply, and logistics, yeah, I could do that. But with my background in recruiting for the military, I was just supporting signal intelligence, military intelligence. So I had a security clearance, and I knew government lingo and contracts and all that stuff. And that's what they were looking for, somebody who knew that type of language. And basically, the wonderful, awesome friend of mine, Elena Rivas, hired me. Even though I had no idea what sourcing was, she knew that I had the government side. So she took me under her wing and for a week gave me sourcing immersion. And then she said, after this, you're on your own and you better make it happen. And so I took off from there. I was like a duck to water. I loved it. So I think a couple months later, I was training the team on how to do Google custom search engines back before the limited your results and all that jazz. And I don't know what happened. It was a beautiful, happy accident. So that was my agency life. So I did agency for almost 4 years, went to an oil and gas agency. And then there's the recent bust that we're recovering from here in Houston. That happened as soon as I got there. So I was there very short-lived for 7 months. And then I went to Northrop Grumman, a defense contractor, recruiting technical engineers, airframe stuff, all kinds of crazy cleared folks. And then now I work for the largest private employer in Texas. They're called HEB. If you've never been to Texas and you've never shopped at a grocery store or one of our retailer locations, then you won't know it. But the owner he takes care of his employees really well, and they wanted to have a sourcing function here because they're getting to that point. You know, a lot of companies get big enough and they're like, hey, we got to start recruiting outside of the state. So how do we do that? And so they wanted to stand up a sourcing function, and that's where I fit into it. So I am their first sourcer, and it's going splendid thus far. So I dig it. So
you sure? Weren't you talking about some tech issues? No? Okay. Speaking of tech issues, no, Audra, I have not been able to get the Facebook Live to work, and I've tried again while you've been chatting.
Bummer. Oh, well, we'll share the recording.
I'm sure I'm doing it right, but we've got the recording and we can upload it later, and it's all good.
Right on.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Right on. So I don't know, you guys had Randy Bailey on not too long ago, and that dude is amazing. And I've seen some of the other sourcers that you've had on before, and it's everyone, for the most part, has like a niche, right? And I don't have a niche. I'm
just get around.
I guess.
What about the government stuff? That's a niche, isn't it?
Well, that's what I thought too. I haven't worked on the government role since I left Northrop Grumman, but even at Northrop Grumman, I had a couple of HR roles on my bench. I had technical roles. I'm a true non-specialist. I'm a true generalist. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean to be. It just happens. So people are like, just give it to Aaron. Okay.
Hey, David Nicola wants to know if you're building a sourcing team. Maybe David's after a new job.
David, I'm going to talk out of both sides of my mouth. Yes and no. Holler at me later, bro.
That would be trouble.
I love that.
Oh my gosh, me and David,
Yeah.
people would go nuts.
I miss that boy. I haven't seen him in like 5 minutes. So I see it makes me laugh. I see some of you guys more than I see my mates here in the UK. I feel shy with sources in the US. It's awesome. So. But does it really matter if you're a generalist? Surely sourcing skills are sourcing skills, and that's where the Boolean comes in.
I mean, to a point. I think if you have the basics down for sourcing, if you that true fundamentals, the blocking and tackling of sourcing, the research, the pre-search, and all that jazz, your process can be the same, and you'll still be successful. But like Steve Levy, who we were talking about earlier, he really shines in the tech space.
In the tech,
so he's going to have to. He'll have a faster spin up, but any sourcer can tackle any role. Yeah. In my personal opinion.
I think the difference when it comes to that tech also is a lot of that, and which I talk about so many times, the candidate engagement, outreach, any of the in short supply. Like I'm sure some of your buyers are really hard to get their attention for, people like that. But it's a certain skill set where there's short supply.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we hire all kinds of crazy stuff. I had no idea. We're a grocery store, but we hire all kinds of stuff. I'm looking for data scientists right now.
Wow.
So,
wow. That's so cool.
Yeah. So any data scientists on the call?
Yeah. Hi.
San Antonio's gorgeous.
We need those too, but in Dublin.
I love San Antonio. I'm not sure I could live there, but I quite love it.
Oh my gosh. Our corporate offices are right off the Riverwalk, not the touristy side, but like the business side.
Yeah.
Oh, gorgeous. I love it.
I was walking along in, of all places, Hemel Hempstead, which will mean nothing to you, yesterday. And it reminded me of that river walk because there's no railing. And I'm like, all those restaurants, all that wine, all that water. There must be people that fall in and never come out again.
Yeah, well, people do fall in. People fall in. Mostly runners, though. Mostly runners, because there's a nice trail. But when it's wet, you can slip and tumble.
Or they're using their phone, like texting.
Texting and walking. Well, at that point, like, come on, you're walking. That's like, I don't know. I think a little bit of Darwinism is at play there. And like true San Antonians are like, that's your problem, right?
Yeah.
Don't fall in the river. It's a river, right? So
it smells. No, I shouldn't say that. But honestly, if you're a data scientist, Aaron Daniels is your person because there's the Riverwalk.
Gorgeous.
Do you hire a lot of people remote, or is it more headquarters? It's more
headquarters.
Yeah. Well, like a data scientist could be remote, couldn't they?
They could, but apparently they're in the retail space. They keep things close to their chest because you can come out with something brand spanking new that no one else has done before. In 6 months, our competitors will copy it and do it too. So they like to keep people in their office. I work remotely for them because I support both Houston and San Antonio, and I live in Houston. So I just travel back and forth. So
yeah, when needed.
It seems more and more these days you can, but I always think the recruiting function can be because you need to have a lot of private conversations, right?
Oh, that's a good point.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially when you talk about comp and all that stuff. So, I mean, companies, even the companies that we think companies that kind of have it together, some of them, there's still conversation you have to have, compensation and benefits. There's always pay inequities. There's all kinds of stuff you have to worry about. So,
So do you make contact as well?
Do I make contact as well? Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, some sources don't. They just, I think they're part of the training.
Yeah. I think sourcing 1.0, I think Glenn Cathy kind of dubbed it that way, like sourcing 1.0 data. No, Amy Beth Hale. Or Quinn. Sorry, Amy Beth. She's sourcing 1.0 was this data gen only. Sourcing 2.0 was reach out, engage, tie a shiny red bow, give them a cup of coffee, smack on the back, and here you go, recruiter. And then go nuts, right? So that's, Lord willing, that's my job.
Yeah.
So
I've got a question for you, right? So I personally don't think Boolean's that complicated. I guess that's because I teach it. But every time I go to talk about it, people go, so, and I'm like, really? It's like and or not, whatever. But spill the beans. Why do you think people make it so complicated?
Because it looks mean.
It looks like math.
It looks mean. Yeah, it looks like math. And listen, I'm half Asian and I'm
called mathematics or maths with an S.
No.
All the maths. Got to do all the maths. But I'm half Asian and I suck at math, right? So
math.
I'm okay. Math and me, we're just not going to talk about that. But with Boolean and me, it's great. It's only 3 words and 2 different syntax, right? That's both the science and the art of the search, because the science is the syntax, the art is how you put it together. Like we could all put our strings together for the same search and have something wildly different, and we're all going to have different results. And that part to me is why I love sourcing, because I'm like, well, why is it different? Why did this show up and this didn't? So, and that's why people don't like it. And then of course there's tools nowadays that will generate Boolean for you, right? Like HireTool, the hottest freaking tool in the recruiting scene right now, has a great Boolean generator, right? Folks across the pond, Social Talent, they have a great Boolean generator. However,
announce my competitor on my show.
Oh, yeah. Katrina can teach you how to fix it.
I'm joking.
Katrina can teach you how to fix the Boolean string when it breaks from Social Talent. How about there? There you go. That's my point. But that's my point exactly.
They're all going to copy and paste the same one, right? They've lost the art of how to.
Exactly my point. And if you don't know, at least I'm not saying you have to be able to generate a Boolean string that's like a freaking paragraph long, because you don't, especially with the way Google works and a lot of search engines work. All that semantic search behind, they're clustering those titles together and those keywords. You don't need to do that anymore. But you damn need to know how to diagnose that, right? So if you run a string from HireTool or any other Boolean builder on the market, it's only going to give you a finite piece of results. And if it's not giving you at least 30 to 40 or whatever you want in your normal workflow, you need to diagnose it. And if you don't know Boolean, you're kind of dead in the water. So we're still going to forever need to know how to do the search and how to diagnose those tools when they're wrong, because they will be wrong. What happens if they break? I mean, I think HireTool has a double nesting, so that's a parentheses inside of parentheses. A lot of places won't really work well with that, right? So next time any of you guys out there using HireTool, check out the double nesting. In other words, the parentheses inside the parentheses. Play with that string. Don't mess with the keywords. Play with the string and see if it tailors your results.
Yeah, get different results.
Dollars to donuts, it will. So.
You also mentioned semantic search. Much as I know what that is, I'm going to let you explain.
Yeah, sure. So if you have like a Siri on your iPhone, or you have the Google Assistant on your Android, or even Amazon Alexa can do a little bit. So you say you're looking for a recruiter, and it's going to stem it. Like back in the day, we used to use the asterisk to stem in Boolean, so it would say recruiting, recruiter, recruited, recruits, all that jazz. So. But not only will semantic search stem that, but also find the synonyms of that as well. So recruiter, staffing, headhunter, things like that. So
it does it for you? That's cool.
Yeah. So I mean, you could do that in Google today. That's why Boolean strings don't need to be so long. I think like sometimes if like a client. Well, if you know how to write Boolean, right, like make a huge long Boolean string for those people who are quite impatient for you, and be like, look, I'm running this. And they're like, oh, okay. Kind of like tell them the flux capacitor's not working. Sorry, bro.
Do you think, though, it will ever...
Do you have any young people on this call who need to know what a flux capacitor is?
Wait, do you have to be young to know? Oh, that movie's like 20 plus years old.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You just so
I mean, Katrina, give me a minute. I'm having a moment. I'm just having an epiphany right now.
It's older than that.
Well, the bigger question was...
Come on!
It's 30 years.
Is it?
No. Surely not.
I'm older than both of you, and I was in senior school, and I'm coming up for my 30-year reunion. So, yeah, it seriously was out in like...
To the Google.
86.
Wow. But wait, more importantly, do you guys like number 1 or number 2 better?
Oh, number 1.
No,
I
think 2 was pretty awesome.
2 was pretty awesome because the hoverboard, right? Who doesn't want a hoverboard?
Recruiting animal. I didn't understand exactly what Aaron meant about playing manually with the strings generated by HireTool.
Hey, what's up, animal? So when HireTool generates a string for you, you can, when you copy it, or you can run it with their little buttons at the bottom, play with it. So there's double parenthesis brackets in there, and there's they're using the and operator, so you can play with just the syntax only to see if it makes a difference. Because sometimes it looks like sometimes it'd be superfluous. So
hey, Kristen, do you use it on Facebook? Because somebody was saying yesterday they were having issues. Facebook gave them a warning.
Do you use Source Direct on Facebook, or do you use tools?
Both.
No, I meant HireTool on Facebook specifically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I use HireTool, but I mean,
does it X-ray Facebook, or does it do like what Shane has created with his tool?
It does exactly what Shane does in his tool.
All right, I wonder
his tool is nice. I like his tool.
Yeah, his tool's great.
She got a smack on the wrist. She was using HireTool to find candidates on Facebook and got a warning. But if I continued, I'd be blocked. This is somebody in Recruiters who actually make placements group. I'm not going to name names because that would be rude.
Oh, okay, cool.
She did get a bit excited.
You got a warning. I've never had that.
But I mean, I've sat running searches on Shane's tons of times, like I'm training, so we're doing search, and it's never. So
maybe, I don't know, like I'm just like spitballing here, but maybe somebody who.
Spitballing, can I have it? Translate the spitballing.
Just taking a guess here, but maybe it's somebody who sends too many messages to someone they're not connected to directly. I don't know. Just spitballing or taking a guess.
No, it was only searching.
Weird.
Yeah, I've never come across that. Hey,
is that against their policy?
I never read those things. I should. Well, I do when they make changes. Well, tell that person to take a screenshot and post it because we need to be aware of that. And thanks for the share. Appreciate it.
She did. It's in the Recruiters Who Make Placement groups. I just didn't want to call her out on it because it's a quite small group, which is quite nice. So when HireTool spits out a string from the keywords you insert, you can tamper with it before running it. Thank you, David.
That's the semantic stuff, right?
I do both. Use tools to source Facebook and also hack the URL. Yeah.
Right.
Quite cool. I still love Facebook. I think it's so underused.
I mean,
I've got clients sending video messages and all sorts. I think they're the best.
I tell you, man, like Facebook is the unsung hero right now. I was I was training yesterday, and somebody was like, "Well, I can't find anybody." I'm like, "Well, where are you going?" Well, I go to Indeed and I go to LinkedIn, and I'm just like, I don't know what to do. Okay, well, have you tried Facebook? Like double the monthly active users, I think triple the monthly active users than LinkedIn.
What do they say?
10 times.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah. I don't do that for That's like personal. It's personal.
The monthly users on LinkedIn is 106 million, and it's 1 billion will go into Facebook today.
Oh,
and I think it's something like 1.6 billion will go in the month.
Awesome.
They've got like nearly 2 billion. Yeah, and it was really funny because LinkedIn were at this event yesterday, and I'm of course doing my usual keynote slagging off LinkedIn as I do. More to just don't rely on it, get off it, blah blah blah. And then LinkedIn got up and they're like, "Well, I'm sure that Microsoft wouldn't have bought us if we were dying." Okay, I'll just shut up now. But actually, it was really sweet. And he goes, "If I went into a room and people didn't hate us, I'd think there was something wrong," which was quite a refreshing attitude. But I'm just like. It's recruiters and LinkedIn who've killed it, to be fair.
Aaron, do you use Twitter much for sourcing?
Thank you, Audra. Commission tips in the post.
Like a tertiary, like a secondary, tertiary effect. It's not my number one go-to. Like every other, Animal has a really good question. Like every other recruiter sourcer, you go to your biggest database and your most lowest hanging fruit first, right? Yeah. Just because everybody else is there doesn't mean everybody else is good at searching the system. Like I'm no like guru, expert, whatever, but I think I'm pretty good at what I do.
What? You're not? Oh, Audra, what guest did I bring
on? My humility precedes itself. But if you can out-search or outperform or get a couple more keywords in the same database of whether it be LinkedIn or what have you, you just have to use all your results. Like most recruiters will stop after the first and second page results. Like if you're going to make a search, like commit, put a ring on it, go through all the results, just do it. Right?
I like that.
Yeah. Are you going to do the whole?
Yeah.
I
can't dance. I can't. Like I look like I'm having seizures. Like somebody will call 911 if I try to dance. Like this guy's having a heart attack.
I always love it when I just do that thing where you show your clients like current job title and change it to engineer rather than engineer or manager rather than manager. I just watch their little faces go, Oh my God, there's like 20.
It's amazing.
And they're like 20 people not being contacted either.
Yeah, exactly.
But then they can't type. I'm going, really? You're going to overlook a great engineer because they can't type.
Listen.
Well, sometimes that's on purpose because they don't want to be.
Yeah.
They don't want to be found, but.
Actually, I had that yesterday. So I used the example actually that I used at SourceCon with the guy who said, don't contact me if you work at Eurostaff or Eurostaff-like company or you're an IT recruiter in the UK or Ireland. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, there's the head of marketing for Eurostaff sitting right there in the audience. But he was so cool. Glenn actually went and worked out who the recruiter was that had pissed this guy off and is sorting it out. That was really cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So can I know I'm not running their show or nothing, but can we touch on Animal's question about new recruiter? So his question is, if a new recruiter knows nothing about Boolean and wants to learn about Boolean, what should they do? The Googles, number one, but number two, Dean DaCosta has great tutorials. Mark Terrici has good tutorials. You can read the SourceCon, what do you call that thing? We read articles, blog. And there's all kinds of videos. And then the number one place you should do is talk to this lovely lady, Skip Audra, over here.
Are you like on commission for them or something? No, but honestly, it's like, I would say my strength actually is really teaching the candidate engagement, to be fair. Because I actually think there is so much information out there about Boolean strengths and tools that very few people are talking about. Okay, well, that's all wonderful.
Well, I mean,
how do I get Aaron to respond to my message? And that's actually what it's becoming about. So, and I've ranted about that on every show for the last 20, so I won't go off on one. But honestly, the Google how to write Boolean is almost, you'll get so many good responses right in there.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this because I do, people will still hire me to come and train their teams here in Houston. And I'm like, listen, I'll take your money, but can we do this first? I tell them that. And so they'll get the basics, which is great because it's a waste of their money. If they, I know I'm like, I don't do it for the money. I do it to keep myself sharp and keep myself out there, yada, yada. But if you can get the foundations first and then bring in somebody else, if you want to give them a booster shot or whatever have you, or an extra cup of Joe to get them moving in the right direction, that's fine. But the basics. Coffee, like really strong coffee. This is great. I love that we have. Google Translate.
I'm in Texas, and I'm like, I don't know these words.
I haven't even used one Texas thing yet. Not even one. I haven't even said y'all once. Oh, I did now, y'all. I've been in Texas for 20 plus years. So
So if you were doing a Boolean string about coffee, you probably wouldn't write in Joe. So I wouldn't know to do that.
Well, it depends where you're trying to find them. If you're trying to find them in Texas, you would. But not
no, that's not a Texas thing. A cup of Joe is kind of. Yeah, cup of Joe. Yeah. I think it's an older term, though. I don't know. Yeah. I always say a cup of Joe or a cup of Jack.
It depends on your target audience, right?
Recruiting animal, right? Cup of Joe is maybe too archaic for them. Yeah, I think it was bigger in the 40s and 50s. Yeah. Whatever. So I just like it because apparently I also am archaic because I use that. But yeah.
I think sometimes you have a family word as well. So that could be something your parents have used and you've held on to it. I have stuff like that in my family, and I say it, and people look at me, and I'm like, oh, it's a Richardson one.
My parents were psychopaths. They never drank coffee. I don't know how they made life happen without coffee. I saw Audra's face is priceless. Priceless. Totally involuntary. That was great.
I've had about 5 hours sleep, so believe me, I've had plenty of coffee. I'm actually drinking tea, though. I'm being quite good.
Oh, I don't like tea.
No, peppermint. Actually, no, this is orange or something. Not tea.
Wow.
Have you told your British?
David, bro.
Have you told your British husband that you don't drink tea?
He doesn't either. He's a
Brit, is he? Wow. Yeah.
He's a wild man.
It's all about the beer.
When we were talking about consultants a second ago, a lot of times there's folks who like overcharge. There's folks who kind of give you like a template and all that stuff. So I don't know why I'm being felt as if I'm pulled to double back to this question, but I feel like I should. So if your consultant won't do a tailored out of the box thing for you, then that's not the right consultant to work with. So consultants and trainers have their places. But in the world of sourcing, if you if you don't figure things out on your own, or you don't at least have the itch to do so, to figure things out, it's going to be a rough road. It's definitely going to be an uphill battle. You have to have the figure it out mentality, because that's the only thing that's going to keep you alive, especially when I think Steve tweeted us the other day, said ask him about Q's and George Bush or something like that.
I have no idea what he was talking about.
Yeah, what's happening?
So that's I love talking about this example because it's hilarious, number one. And then two, Steve and I, we racked our brains about this wreck. So in my agency days, I shit you not, this was a church pew salesman. Church pew salesman, 100% commission, had to fly themselves to their own meeting. Yeah, it was rough. It was rough.
Wait, you were that, or you were hiring that? I'm sorry, I missed that.
I was recruiting for that.
Wow.
Yeah, it was tough.
Actually, someone who sells church pews. I mean, I know that sounds there's enough churches. It probably makes sense, but it's
What was the job title?
It couldn't be the entire church furnishings. There are all sorts of things in there. It's just the pews.
No, those were add-on products, but they got the majority of their money.
Add-on products.
Oh, David, I'm repeating myself. He says he loves this story. But they were in the East Coast, right? You don't have trucks and vans like you do here in Texas. And they had to carry around 3-foot pew samples.
Okay.
There's a thing. There's a thing called a pew sample, plus in the East, where like Boston, churches have been around for like what, 60 plus years, 100 years. They've been around for a while. So it was crazy. So the reason I bring that story up, because if you're in the sourcing world and you have the figure it out mentality, find yourself a mentor, at least a couple folks you can bounce a wreck off of, because I had no idea what to do with this one. I built my research profile. I was looking for furniture sales, and at the end of the day, I called Steve, and he was like, "This is the weirdest wreck, one of the weirdest wrecks I've ever seen." So we talked about it. We slept on it, and the next day we started. We called again, and so essentially we said we'll just find regular furniture sales folks who are really successful and want to add something to their portfolio. They can afford to fly themselves to Waco, Texas. Which, by the way, Waco, Texas, you don't just fly to Waco. You got to fly to Dallas and then get like a little commuter plane, or you drive, which is a 45-minute to an hour drive. Oh, it's more than that, like hour 20. So it's not exactly an easy commute, and it's you eat what you kill kind of thing. Yeah. So we got them. We got 15 qualified and interested candidates. So
You found the person?
Oh, they didn't hire anybody, but we sent them 15 people who were ready to rock.
Wait, they didn't hire anyone in the end? What happened?
Long story. They like I think they were trying to scare people out of the job, to be honest.
Wow.
Well, I get their mindset, right? This is not an easy job. Let's put them through the ringer. And it's like, you sure you want to do that? Like, maybe try.
And I also think that so just in defense of the trainers, I get such a kick when I'm putting together training where I find people in really, really unexpected places. But what I won't do is I'm not going to go in and teach you LinkedIn if you're hiring something that's just not going to be found there. And I think that's what you're talking about. You got to get curious and you got to try other places. And I'm forever going on about Instagram. Freaking love it. You just got to be curious how you use it. But you can certainly find people on there, and they're not going to expect your message. So
they're going to see it.
Dig in and try somewhere new. And I think you're right.
Can you still share Spotify playlists? Can you do that?
I'm not the world's best Spotify person.
I saw an article a couple years ago where somebody put like the songs and the messages, the titles of the songs were like his recruiting message. That was brilliant, right?
Oh, wow. That's really cool.
Recruiting animal. I don't care if Aaron doesn't agree with me about recruiting people on Instagram.
Do you use it? I know you use Snapchat.
700 million people on there. It's freaking awesome.
I don't care where you find somebody. Like if you find somebody at the 7-Eleven on the corner, bravo, go do your job. Just go do your job.
There's so many ways to source on it. So one, you can search for the links on Twitter, where people are just chucking the photos out on Twitter and they're going out as links. But you can source straight in there. Hashtags, all sorts. Like people's staff who've checked in. I love it. Sorry.
I mean, especially like if you know that.
700 million users. It grew 100 million in about the last 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah. That's 200 million more than LinkedIn has. Okay, you got to be creative, but sorry,
So,
I really like it.
I'm doing a search right now, just off the top of my head.
Yeah.
If you know the hashtag, right? So like
Damn.
DevOps, dude, lemon squeezy, right? It should be.
Please look at David's comment. Oh my God.
Hold on, I gotta go back to it.
Audra, read
Well,
that
I
out.
kind of disagree. What if you're trying to hire hackers? That might be a great place to find them.
Well, I don't think we want those. We want the CEH hackers, the certified ethical hackers. Maybe not those kind of hackers.
Well, no, maybe those are the most genius because they went to jail because they did such a good job.
For those who are watching,
I don't know, man. Those are the ass clowns that steal my money, so I don't know about that.
Okay, hang on. For those watching the replay, though, who aren't seeing the comments, David not Nicola, apparently, asked, is there ever a bad place to source people? Maybe jail. We've decided that could be good. Recruiting Animal. Well, Jerry says he could source people at church, but it probably isn't the best place. It's all about the approach.
It depends what you're hiring for.
Why not in church?
Yeah.
I would, depending on the church.
It's networking. You don't actually walk up and shove a job in their face and go, you want a job. But you get chatting to them later.
Animal asked Jerry, is like, he going, praise Jesus, would you like a job? Praise Jesus, would you like a job? Like, come on, dude. I would. I mean, shoot, if you have a church that's in, like, if you're looking for oil and gas folks in Texas, and there's a church in the Woodlands that's really popular.
Hey, Mr. Rose, I have no idea you're on the call. Sunrise, hello. I love this.
That would have been a good place to find the pew salesman.
Yeah. So John's written, would Jerry know?
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Listen.
I'm going to change my career to a pew salesman. I like that.
Well, I mean, supposedly they can make a ton of money, but then, it's probably a feast or famine, right? Because when you build a church, you put in pews.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
And you get strong from all that lifting of the big heavy pews.
And it's not like they're going to wear out as fast as your leather sofa, right? Then it's not going to be the turnover.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly. That's awesome.
I mean, how old are pews? Like 100 years? Wow. Anyway. How did we end up here from Boolean?
Well, that depends. Are you using mahogany or cedar? I don't know. I don't know.
Aaron, I know you use Snapchat for personal, but is that also kind of for recruitment networking purposes or more just personal?
I mean, for recruiting and networking for other recruiters, and I'm terrible because I haven't snapped in over a month, right? Oh, yeah. I go in patterns. I fall in and then out of love with Snapchat ever so often. But I snap about recruiting and sourcing stuff because it's just another way to share knowledge, right? So someone told me a long time ago, the best of the best share their knowledge because, not everybody's going to pick up on it or use it or have the gumption to do so. And I think, like, hell, I didn't get to where I'm at today on my own.
Exactly right.
It takes a village.
I love the idea of a mentor if you're kind of a new sourcer. That's genius.
Yeah. I mean, and I have a couple of people now that call me probably on the monthly and say, hey, this is what's happening. Don't mind. Yeah. And if I can't solve their problem, I'll call somebody else.
Is that why you started Source Houston? Let's give it a plug.
I wasn't going to do that, but absolutely.
When are you coming and do Source London? Come on.
Yeah, hell yeah, let's do it.
That would be really interesting.
It's on my bucket list. London is on my bucket list. And it replaced Las Vegas.
I feel like I'd have to follow you around, though, and just give you subtitles. Yeah.
That's cool. I can do that. Hey, howdy, y'all. He means hello, everyone.
He means good afternoon. I reckon we could get a queue.
Yeah, what were we talking about?
Get a queue of people lined up to do translation for you. It'd just be too funny.
Yeah, Bizzer and a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest, right? Yeah.
So we were talking about Source Houston. So did Source Houston? I quite lost it. Did Source Houston start from the mentoring side? Is that why you started it?
Well, to be honest with you, I almost teared up. I'm laughing so hard over here. So Source Houston, I started it because I realized that on the national scope, I'm connected to some really great people who are willing to help. And there was a company down here that went through some layoffs that I knew quite a few folks from. and they're like, hey man, if you know of anybody, hit me up because I need a job. It's like, well, crap, I don't really know too many folks here in Houston. And it's the fourth largest city in the United States, right? It's 4 million in Houston proper, 6, almost 7 in the surrounding area. That's ridiculous. There's no need for that. We know too many people in Houston already. I mean, there's Megan Columbus here, Natalie Dunphy, Jason Vogel, Elena Rivas, my first mentor. There's a lot of folks here who know their shit, and there's no reason for us not to share. And as well as network, because I mean, Waste Management is headquartered in downtown Houston. They have a phenomenal team, but you know, there's no reason not to do it, right? And we have the knowledge, at least to share, to get folks moving. We have a lot of agencies in the Houston area because of oil and gas markets, and then also the IT and healthcare markets. So we need to, you know, it's kind of your job. That's my personal opinion. If you get to a certain level of success where you are very comfortable knowing that in your career and the way you do things, if you feel like you're in a good place, well, damn it, give back. That's it. And so that's the whole reason that we started Source Houston. So we try to keep tickets really cheap. I think the most expensive was like $75 for a night of dinner, sourcing, and dessert and booze.
That venue looks awesome, by the way.
Yeah, I was at a brewery, right? Yes, I love it. So I think that's the most expensive it'll ever get. Lord help me if I can help it. If we start doing like,
we get sponsors to help though.
Yeah, and I tell the sponsors that up front. You know, if you're going to sponsor, like, listen, it's this much money, and here's why, and this is why we do it. And if you can't get on board with that, then I'll just bankroll it myself. And that's what I've been doing. So, because I'm a sick individual, I make zero money off this, and that's not the plan.
Sick as in demented. I think you mean like sick as in cool. What was this thing you were doing? I saw bricks on Snapchat. I saw bricks and exercise and something. What were you up to? That has nothing to do with Boolean, of course. I'm just being nosy.
I sell bricks. What are you talking about?
Oh, no, bricks.
Yeah. So
I don't think that my English is that bad.
No, it's not. But no, your English is fantastic. You know, you like English 1.0, you all English 2.0 right here. Good English, bad English. So, so I'm a military veteran, and so there was the May was Military Appreciation Month, and it was also Mental Health Awareness Month. So I just put it on my Facebook that I was going to do 22 push-ups every hour on the hour every Monday, because it's Military Monday, just because I need to keep it on the top of my mind, and I need to do more. So I'm looking at doing some partnerships to help veterans, specifically veterans who are truly diagnosed with PTSD and some things like that. A buddy of mine who I served with, he got blown up a couple of times, and now he can't hold a job because he'll have random seizures and they have no idea why, from a TBI. Like the dude's like, well, I would love to work, and he's like, deuced out. So, like in an interview, it happened to him. So, so there's things like that, right? And I see there's a little bit of fraud and abuse in the government. It happens, and I see people who are walking around easily done, that have easily gotten 100% disability, and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna go ride a jet ski and got my 6-figure job. Like, look here, you big old bag of dumb. There's people who need that.
Yeah.
So anyway, so the bricks were because a couple of my Army buddies were like, that's too easy. You need to elevate yourself. So I did incline push-ups off of bricks.
Nice.
Sucked.
We should have you. Yeah.
I'll never be doing even one push-up.
No.
Well, now with that attitude.
No. That's the only kind of push beer to throw.
Aaron, we should have you back for a show on veteran recruitment. That would be cool.
Yeah.
I'd love to do that.
Really cool.
Yeah, sure. I'm
absolutely
cool with that.
Is there a way we can support? Did you start a charity page for your push-ups, or is there a?
No, I didn't do that. I just want people to be aware of it. Like, listen, I donated my own funds because I just felt like I had to. I don't want people to pay money. I just want people to do what they can in their everyday lives. You know, it's up to them. And I mean, you know what? If you don't care and you're patriotic, God bless you. You know what? Go ahead. You do your thing. I hate it when people are like railroaded into being patriotic. And here in America, you know, like you have to put an American flag on your lawn or you're unpatriotic. I don't care. I don't care if you put a flag up. I don't care if you support the troops or not. I would prefer you did, but that's your decision. So I don't like it when people get railroaded into it.
It's really hard to be patriotic at the moment with that thing in charge. But anyway, that's another conversation for another day. So bringing it back around to Boolean.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we were way off, huh?
Yeah, no, but that's cool because, you know, it's our show and we do what we want.
Yes.
I didn't know that Dean had PTSD either. It's interesting. David, Nicola, I let my freak stalking flag fly proudly. Recruiting animals. Should Boolean gurus be forced to call people and engage them? Yes.
What if they just don't have that personality? Then I think they shouldn't, because then they could mess it up.
I mean, if you got to the point to where you're a Boolean guru in a recruiting space, I mean, you've had to pick the phone a couple of times. But I think everybody should perfect your pitch, man. Like, perfect your pitch in every aspect. Text, email, whatever platform you're using. Like Meetup. You can use Meetup, the free messaging platform.
Can you see that? I took a photo of a phone earlier. I just thought it was the best.
It's pretty good.
That is awesome. I miss those.
I feel like someone, though, could be a really good kind of hacker sorcerer type mind that just is shy and uncomfortable talking to people. And then I think that's okay. And just for them, have them just find the person and
but
hunt
then
them
they're
down.
more of a researcher.
Yeah,
it's kind of a weird question to me, like being forced, no. The free market. Like gun to your head forced or what? What are we doing here, animal? I'm just kidding. I guess. But yeah, I agree. Like there are some folks who are just like friggin' Rain Man who can like pull data for days. And you're right. You probably wouldn't want to put them in front of people, and nerds like the job BCZ. I'm reading for animal. Nerds like the job BCZ. They just had to sit in the office by themselves. Hey, fair enough. I mean, so Kay Kellison, who was on the other week, would say that she doesn't want to do the candidate outreach. She would rather do just sourcing the research. Great. So actually, I did miss the word force. Sorry. I do think they should make contact, but that's because I guess I'm a bit more extroverted than that. I couldn't sit all day just researching. I couldn't do that.
Yeah, I couldn't either, but I'm not a sorcerer.
I mean, I said play your strengths, right? Any good manager, if they're going to make somebody make phone calls, I mean, why would you do it? Me, I don't know.
That's just
going to represent the company well.
Yeah, and you know, I think of the same line. Shally Stockwell was in one of his trainings was saying, you know, practice your pitch and don't pitch your first time to your A-level candidate. And to me, it's like, if you're going to have somebody who's uncomfortable on the phone, why put them in front of those any amount of candidates, to be honest with you. But if your job rotates and calls for it, because things change in organizations, then you just start picking up the phone. It's just an evaluation. Is that organization right for you moving forward?
That was what was really interesting at SourceCon. I think there's been such a change in demographic as well. So when I actually said, okay, so who makes contact? It was pretty well every single person in the room, whereas it didn't used to be like that. And I think that comes down to cost. That had to cut their teams down. John Rose, I know several Boolean gurus who produce and hand them over to people speakers.
A dim room and no distractions. Like
that is dim room with no distractions.
Just feed them every once in a while.
Yeah, and so John.
I like the people speakers. I think that's awesome. I've never heard that. Let's just call it candidate engagement is now people speakers. I am so stealing that off you, and I'm going to hashtag it.
Just give them pizza.
I mean, John, resourceful John over there, he's right. I mean, if you're playing to your strengths, your organization can support that, headcount wise, and all that jazz. Great, do it. Why not? If it works, knock it out of the park, swing away. But
again, think about like your data scientists and your tech and your nurses, and those really hard to source. You really do actually need that, whether you can afford it or not. You need it. If you've got vacancies you're struggling to fill, find the money. Oh, there's so much conversation going on there, Georgia.
On the chat, I see
just in case you want to read any of it out for those who aren't actually watching live.
There's the chat piece is moving. So resourceful Johnson, once an hour, pass food and drink through a slot in the door.
John
Lord
Rose,
help
I'm
you.
never ever going to be your employee.
There are labor laws, man. Labor laws.
And I know you're going to only give me £4 an hour, and that's under what you should be.
Hey, Aaron, when do you think a team needs to start adding a sourcing? Like, say they're kind of small, they have 3, and then they have 5 recruiters, and then 10. At what point do you think they need to think about a sourcing function?
I mean, here's what I love about people, because I've been on now 3 startup sourcing teams, like in different industries and all that stuff. When people think they want sourcers, they hire them, and then half the time they don't know what to do with them because they haven't mapped out their process, right? It is. Yeah. You may not ever need a dedicated sourcer only if you have recruiters that do both. You may not ever need a dedicated sourcer if your business doesn't support it, right? But I mean, it's just up to the management team. If you have a recruiter that's just dying, but on the prepping the funnel side, and they're actually doing their job, but they have too much client management, and that may be an opportunity for you to look into a sourcer. But it's really up to the organization, because I've been on 4 different sourcing teams now. I try to stick around, and the metrics have never been the same. Like there's always the how are we going to grade you kind of thing. Because I mean, when you go, and this is another piece of the conversation too, when you talk about hiring a sourcer, you're essentially going, whomever you report to, whether it's the business or HR, you're going to them and saying, listen, I'm going to hire somebody on recruiting staff, but they're not going to own any recs. They're not going to be responsible for any hires, and they're going to cost about this much money, right? And so play that back to yourself. He agrees.
He agrees with you. Yeah.
He agrees. He agrees.
Yeah, he's going to be a sourcer when he grows up.
I'm waiting for my food to the slot. I'm hungry.
Yeah, I like tacos for sourcing.
Dave says, I'm learning about split models compared to rec-based sourcing models. That's interesting. What are your thoughts, preferences on different models?
I mean, that's up to the organization, right? I mean, I would prefer to be in one rec-based model myself. Like I want somebody to add me to the rec, I'm the contributor, and I rock and roll with that thing until we fill it or until something else is a bigger fire. That's just me. I think, again, it's up to the business, but if there's too many hands in the kitchen, it just, I don't know.
Can you say, what is a split-based model? I don't know what that means.
I'm assuming he means from multiple people working on the same rec to fill it. I could be wrong, but I think that's what we're working with. Or maybe splits for agency style. David, can you elaborate?
Please explain. Yeah. Which won't mean anything to you because you're not Australian. But anyway, we had this awful Australian politician who used to always go, please explain. Ooh. Anyway, that's another whole code. Oh, you're right. Split is more funnel-based.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So when you say split, you're talking, since it's funnel-based, that means...
There's not even a rec open.
Oh, okay. So multiple people working on a pipeline. Okay. Yeah. That's super interesting.
But super hard to measure success, but great, interesting.
Well, I guess
that's where I'm name dropping a tool now. Candidate ID is really cool for that sort of stuff. When you just wanting to keep that pipeline going, and it's the best tool I've seen for keeping people. Just throwing that out there. Seeing you guys are dropping high tool left, right, and center.
Yeah. You know, back to what David's saying is split models, rec-based sourcing. So if it's funnel-based, judging metrics, I guess, would be how many folks you keep in the funnel. Yeah, and you know, I think another smart person said funnels or pipelines are great, but they leak. So I don't know if you're working on pipeline there, but I think that was another.
That's where candidate ID is really cool, and you love it, Audra, because of the marketing side and the measurement behind it, and it sort of helps. You know, people who might have just will keep being fed bits and pieces of information, which isn't just job based. It's all, you know, why you work for us, or white papers, or all sorts of stuff.
Right, because how do you define keeping them in the funnel? Does that mean you talk to them once, or you talk to them every month? Like, it's just hard to define.
Yeah.
You know, and for me,
has the time to talk to everyone. So don't forget the online bit, Aaron. You've gone off into the side chat channel and we've lost it.
It's over
Sorry,
there.
I'll answer it now. So for Audra's question,
if you're going to answer them.
Yeah, absolutely. So Audra, to your point, is as long as there's some sort of forward movement, right?
Yeah.
Some sort of forward movement, because there's two sides of the candle that are burning, right? How bad they want a job or when they're willing to move, and then when your opening for this role will be. And sometimes this end isn't ever lit, right? So it just, as long as there's forward progress and I'm getting warm fuzzies and I feel that the candidate is getting warm fuzzies, I'll call as often as needed. If they want a weekly update, they want a monthly update. But granted, this is for putting this much effort into a candidate. This means they've been vetted and at least gone through a couple of interviews. And it's the chances of being a hire are extremely likely.
Yeah.
So
how do you find the time to do that then? Because the classic, got it again yesterday. Oh, well, I got 200 applications in for my role, and I've immediately gone, well, clearly you're advertising it badly. You're getting
or there's no screen out questions.
That was it, or like seriously, that was another whole conversation. But I always get the time issue. So it's like,
I don't
make the time because you see it's worth it, or.
Well, if I know this person's a probable hire, then that means I need to keep them engaged regardless, right? But again, I mean, those folks who have 200 candidates to go through, I don't disposition candidates in a requisition. I don't own it. So depends on your model as well. They might need a sourcer.
I don't disposition. Another word. What's disposition?
Oh, you don't disposition. That's interesting.
I do not. Because I don't own the rec. I own it. But I don't go through the rec and say this candidate disqualified this. I'm only filling the rec.
Reject.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm not. Yeah.
Just needed a translation from American to English.
So what would you call it?
Just reject a candidate.
Got it.
Disposition sounds much nicer than being rejected.
Yeah. It's just
Just like us Americans sugarcoating it all. Yeah.
It's so lovely dating you, but I want to disposition you now.
Yeah, exactly.
Give you the next workflow step. So I see the recruiter, they get the ones that just come in at ATS. You're going off on your, that makes sense.
Right. Now, I'll go through an ATS. Absolutely. Like, that's just.
Do you find sourcing at ATSs works well?
Depends on the ATS.
So I'm going to talk out of both sides of my mouth again. Yes and no. Yes, it works well because it's like you have to wrestle things like Taleo to the ground, right? Until you get it out, until you figure it out. But then, you make folders and all that stuff.
I mean, it's awesome. It's this warm pile of people that, want to work for you. But some ATS, it's so hard. You get all these like double positives and a lot of issues.
I think there was a smaller ATS Bright we worked at for in the past. It had some of those issues. But you go to the fridge before you go to the store, right? Why waste your money, right? So I go to my ATS, especially for tech roles. I'll go to 4 or 5 year old software development intern roles, and I'll go back through and call and check those folks out, see what they're doing. I love checking out. Every once in a while, it happens. I'll find a candidate that just withdrew from the process. Like it says candidate withdrew, and then I'll say, I wonder why. Hey, I heard you were looking at coming to Texas a few years back. What happened? Oh, really? Well, hey, let's talk about it again. How about a $5,000 like sign-on bonus or whatever? What will it take? And just do that way. I love going to the ATS because there's always little nuggets of awesome. I shouldn't call people nuggets of awesome. That's what I just did.
Yeah, that's all right. I like that.
Audrey, you're a nugget of awesome.
I like it.
Nugget of awesome. So John
I'm going
Rose,
to change my LinkedIn header.
John Rose, you too. My God, you're like naughty children today. John Rose, he uses Hello Talent, which I also adore, by the way, for my potential pipeline, then move them into the company ATS CRM once ready to progress. Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree with that. Love it. Because when they're not really an applicant, but you've just found them and found all their social profiles and done the work, I think it's awesome.
I agree, and that's how I like to operate. Right now, I don't have a CRM, so I'm doing it old school, Outlook calendars and spreadsheets galore.
Excel spreadsheet.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm trying to find a couple of. So if any of you guys out there are really good with Zapier or IFT, I'm trying to find something that will connect my Google Sheets plus a couple of other software. So if you're really good at IFT or preferably Zapier, help me out. I'm asking. Please. Some of that automation. I beg your pardon?
How many push-ups do they help? 100?
I mean, in a day, like I could probably do.
Like in 10 minutes.
In 10 minutes, 70-ish?
Or do you know, we might do one.
You could do more. You could do more. Not with that attitude. Okay.
That's why I'm not ex-military.
Oh, you'd be a great source.
You don't like being told what to do. Yeah, well, you're not right for us. I do.
Yeah, you would be crap.
Oh, Audra, no sugarcoat whatsoever. Love you.
Anything else about Boolean we missed, because we got to wrap up soon?
Oh, crap.
Anything you wanted to cover? Yeah, we may have
Oh my God, I want to read this message out and I can't.
Why not?
Why not?
Call David David.
Oh, do we call him Dave? Oh, was it me?
Yeah, and I pronounced his name correctly, apparently.
We're all David Nicola says we're all awesome nuggets. Solid. Man, you know, if the one thing anybody can take away from the show is don't forsake your Boolean. Yes, there's all kinds of tools out there that'll say, we'll do it for you. But why would you outsource your own thought process? Because that's what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
Let somebody else do the groundwork, and then you can fine tune it, but still have your own thought process, because really the thought process is what's going to keep you alive. That and your ability to pick up the phone if it's part of your job, animal, and also if you are able to just hustle and just figure stuff out. But don't forsake your Boolean.
Most of those are based on a job title, and you might actually search for a phrase rather than search for a job title. So you might pick up good people that way who are writing ridiculous things, like, you know.
Yeah, and you know, it's interesting. I want to watch Google for Jobs come out. You guys were talking about it, a couple months ago on the show. They're clustering like titles for us. They're using that semantic power of Google to start clustering that. That's going to be amazing, depending on how they roll that to market. Says if it's super expensive, then it's no longer amazing. But I'd be very interested on just seeing if I could get into the back end of that and just seeing how that works. Because, like to Audra's point with your Boolean, don't look for job titles. Look for nouns and verbs. What do you do and how are you doing it? Nouns and verbs.
Yeah.
So.
Do you think Google for Jobs is going to be really take off and be some danger for some companies like Indeed?
I'm glad you said that, because in the Google I/O, Sundar is on stage and he specifically mentioned Career Builder, blah blah blah. Oh, I've been drinking. Career Builder, Monster, Glassdoor, and like that's like, you know, Indeed is right here in the middle, and he went all the way around it, and so that to me is like, interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
So
interesting, yeah.
But I'm sure Barb and her team over there at Indeed have some things planned as well. They're super smart folks, and they're really nice. So,
no, it's great company.
So Sundar from Google, if you're hearing me, man, let's be friends. I'll say you're nice too once I meet you.
Add him on LinkedIn. I'm sure he'll accept.
Yeah.
And, there you go.
I mean, and a hookup on a Google Pixel would be amazing, but you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. I've completely forgotten who our guest is for next week, but I know that it's going to be more on the marketing side.
Yeah, something.
I know I haven't cemented them in yet, so we had someone fall out. I know, like, who's later. So it's on the marketing side, so you're going to love it, Audra.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Nice.
That's my jam.
So,
He's done all right with the Boolean, though.
What was that?
He's done all right with the Boolean.
Oh, nice. Nice.
You weren't just going, no, that was too confusing. You were like right in there.
I'll do a little small self-plug, if I may. May I?
Yeah,
no,
absolutely.
So I have an About Me page. I'll put it in the chat, but it's about.me /Aaron with 2 R's, not one, _Z_Daniels. So if you ever want to talk shop, you can schedule an appointment on my calendar, and I'm willing to help. So.
Aaron, have you thought about buying your domain name and then forwarding it to that? So you can just say aarondaniels.com or whatever is free?
I'm cheap.
It's like $14, $12 a year.
Is it?
Yeah.
But I'm using that. I bought a domain for Source Houston. I'm only buying one domain. I'm just
kidding. Come on. I'll lend you the $12.
It's
like, come on, man.
Yeah. It's easier to stay on the website and put it in.
We've got 1 minute. 1 minute. When's the next Source Houston?
Yeah.
The next Source Houston will be the week prior of November 11th. We're going to be focusing on recruiting veteran talent for our main stage, and then also we'll have normal breakouts.
Did you just say the week before November 11th?
Correct.
What does that mean?
Because I don't have a solid date yet. We're working on that for venue.
Or the week of? So
Yeah.
at some point between the 6th and the 18th.
Correct. It'll probably be that Wednesday or Thursday. But yeah, and if you want to check out Source Houston, it's just sourcehouston.org.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Aaron.
Cool.
Thank you so much for being on the show. Thank God.
Y'all have a great day.
We'll see you back on Friday next week.
Yeah. Thanks, Aaron.
Back to normal.
Hey, let's talk about veterans soon, yeah?
Yes.
Yes.
Thanks.
Definitely. Bye.
Bye.